Hello, we are here for one more lesson of this T-FLEX analysis training course, and the topic for today will be the boundary conditions. These initial conditions or boundary conditions are used in studies that use time dependencies and vary according to the type of the physical study that we are doing the calculation for. We have a lot of different initial conditions, and in our theoretical course there is a full description of all the different initial conditions, and these apply to the different kinds of studies. So you can consult there what is possible to do in each one of the different calculations. Let us see in this lesson the generics of this concept. I will do a very simple solid so that we can simulate something. Let us apply 20 here, for example, something like this. So the idea it is we want to study this solid here, and we have a couple of steps to go and to move. So analysis, we need to create a new study. We need to say, okay, this is the solid. In this particular case, I want to study. We need to create a mesh. Okay, I will create a mesh. I will not care much about the type and quality of the mesh. Okay, just calculating a mesh. And now the idea of these initial conditions, what we can call the appliance of the boundary conditions, we have two types. We have first the restraints, and then we have the loads. So to successfully solve a physical study in this finite element formulation, besides the creation of the mesh, it's also necessary to define these initial or boundary conditions very accurately, because otherwise we will not have also an accurate result. We have a lot of different types of calculations, but for example in statics we can have a couple of restraints, and these restraints are applied to certain elements of the solid that we are studying for. So in this particular case, for the restraints, I need to go to this option here, and we will see what each one of these guys does. I want a full restraint. I will apply this to a particular face, and we have this kind of visual check. So this means that what we are studying, this particular face will not move and it will be fixed. This is for applying a specific condition. Then we have another kind of initial boundary conditions, which are the loads. And the loads, there are lots of different kinds of loads. In this particular case, very simple. I want to apply a force, and I will apply a force also, for example, on an edge or on a vertex. I will apply it on a vertex. I will define the direction, and we'll say that I want this direction here. Okay, the value I will apply, for example, 5,000 newtons, and it is done. And at this point I'm okay to solve the study, because I have everything defined in terms of the needed conditions to make a study. And I will do the calculations as an academic exercise to see a result. But before, I'd like to state one more thing. This physical study, the essence of this is determined by the type of the initial and the boundary conditions applied to what we want to study. It is very important to obtain accurate and trustworthy solution to the user have a very clear image of the phenomenon that is analyzing. So this is of crucial importance to define properly the conditions that we have, being the restraints, the loads. It is extremely important, otherwise the results will not be what we are looking for. So now simply solve it. We have a couple of parameters here. I will not care about those. And I have something studied. So let us see on the study the results for these in terms of displacement. Okay, and let us do some animation. Okay, you have it here. And you can see that according to my conditions, restraints and loads, we have the study done. So I hope this concept of the boundary conditions, the initial and the boundary conditions with these topics and with these examples are clear enough for you to understand what is needed to insert on the system to have, after this defined, to have a proper result on the calculation that we can call the study. Any help, any better example that you may need, so contact us and we will give you all the necessary support.